Hey, it's Josh with Revhard Motors. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about the R33 market. You may be looking at a Skyline. The R32 is plenty out here. R34 is still a bit away. The R33s are starting to become legal, and you might have a bit of questions. Today, we have a completely bone stock version, and we also have one that's extremely built. We're going to be talking a bit about what it takes to go from one to the other, what's the pros and cons of buying each kind of car, what to look out for, and basically that's it. So let's go ahead and get started. So the R32, obviously we know, is an awesome car. Some of the fault points were the oil pump and turbo blades and some minor things. The R33 addressed that, and so the oil pump has been upgraded and the turbo blades are typically something you don't have to watch out for. The R33, things you want to watch out for are typical things like rust, underbody rust, fender well rust, and the trunk rust, and most importantly, right here on the strut tower bars. You can see these are evenly clean. All the welds are still nice. No signs of rust or moisture. This right here is the number one thing you want to watch out for in an R33. They're notorious for going bad. Other than that, you have a pretty stock RB26. Almost none of these cars come completely stock. This does have them Apexian air intake. This does look like a factory strut bar. The one thing that we've noticed is that the car either has a great motor bay or a great exterior or a great interior, one of the three. But generally it doesn't have all three. But as you can see in this one, it's completely original interior. We have the GTR mats, nice original seats, no dash cracks, nice clean and clear. That's really what you're looking for. The other thing you want to watch out for, especially on the older Japanese cars, is just rust everywhere. Inside here in the trunk, pull back the truck linings, really get a look inside the floorboards. A lot of times the shocks go bad here on the R33s. Those are pretty easy to replace, but this is a heavy trunk. You want to look underneath the undercarriage. The other thing you want to look for is the window linings, window seals. Those tend to go bad. If you smell like a tad bit of moisture in the car, maybe like a musty mildew, that typically indicates that the seals around some of the glass might be bad. You might smell that in the trunk or inside the car. If you smell that, it's not really a big issue. You just have to have a skilled technician to replace and seal that glass. So a lot of people think the R33 is the boat, and notably so. But there are another handful of people that say the R33 really is the best one to own. This car does have a lot of history, especially with the Le Mans circuit, the LM2 cars, and there's actually a Le Mans club for these cars as well. So a lot of history with the 33. It is a personal preference. The car is solid through and through. So next, let's talk a little bit about performance. Most people who want a Skyline, let's face it, want to beef up, get some horsepower, either hit the track, have some fun, or drag it. It's all about power. And so we would like to explain a little about what it takes to go from a stock car to a completely built car. Now, first and foremost, there's going to be a laundry list of parts. The challenge to being horsepower is that most times there's other hurdles you have to jump over, namely rust. Most of the people that we know that have gone from this to this, in that process have encountered at least $10,000 to $12,000 in rust repair and some minor paint modifications just to get the build back together to look decent. So again, I want to stress that you want to make sure that the car is namely rust-free. Unless you enjoy a project and the price point's right, then go ahead and take a look at that. As far as this car goes, we have an extremely bigger turbo. It's a 4-inch outlet. The fuel system in this car is massive. We have 2 Bosch fuel pumps and a surge tank that provide the fuel enough to make this car go. It has an aftermarket ECU system. A lot of people get a Skyline over from Japan and they say, I want to get it tuned. Well, if it's on an aftermarket ECU, you can get it tuned. A factory ECU, not so much. So Here in this car, you're entering a world of constant variables. As you can see, there's a lot of work that goes into this and a lot of money. The average person who buys one of these is looking at anywhere between $20,000 and $50,000 in addition to the purchase price to get to a build of this level. This car here, you're looking again anywhere from $30,000 to $40,000 up into the high 40s, 50s, depending on the quality of the car. And so if you were to buy a car, even at the low side, let's just call it $40,000, and you go ahead and put $40,000 into a build, you're at $80,000 into a car to go from this to this. And so here, that's why we do different options. This car here was built recently, about 2 years ago. It was built by a gentleman who liked to do the build, liked to put the pieces together, and then when the project was complete, kind of got bored with it and on to the next one. And those are kind of the best builds to buy. We get some cars in from Japan every once in a while that has some really nice builds, maybe a shop demo car, but sometimes they sat for 10 or 12, 15 years, and everything inside of it is no good anymore. And so you have to do the build all over again. So there's a basic overview of the R33 Market. What to look out for, what to watch out for, what it takes to go from stock to built, the range of what's out there. Again, if you have any questions, we're available. Just feel free to reach out. We have lots of sources worldwide. And so if you're looking for a vehicle like this, now might be the best time to get one. The supply of them is not going up and the demand is not going down. And so we're seeing prices climb at auction. We're seeing prices climb in private markets. And so again, if you're looking for a car like this, we'd be happy to help. Feel free to reach out.